Afghanistan, a convoy of army trucks heads into a remote area to assist another convoy that has been stranded on the road for some time. A staff sergeant begins complaining angrily about the wasted effort, though this is merely his way of playfully teasing his brother, who is also serving as a soldier. While the staff sergeant works on repairing one of the trucks, his brother urges him that they belong on the front lines and that they should try to join the Army Rangers. Initially, the staff sergeant shows little interest, but his brother reminds him of the promise they made to fight together, which sways his opinion. Without warning, a missile strikes one of the trucks, causing a massive explosion that forces the rest of the group to take cover. Taliban insurgents soon open fire on the convoy, prompting the soldiers to quickly grab their weapons and return fire. More trucks explode in succession as the staff sergeant runs for cover, only to be knocked unconscious by a powerful blast. When he regains consciousness, he grimaces in pain while pulling a piece of shrapnel from his leg. Looking around, he realizes to his horror that he is the sole survivor of the devastating attack. He drags himself over to his brother's body and breaks down emotionally at the devastating sight. Years later, the staff sergeant awakens on a bus, having once again relived the traumatic event in a nightmare. He now wears a brace on his injured leg and relies on antidepressants to cope. The bus delivers him to the Ranger training base in Colorado, where he enlists in the assessment and selection program. In the welcome area, the recruits must surrender all personal items, placing their names, documents, and ranks into bags. Each recruit receives a number, and the staff sergeant is assigned 81. Given his strong record, he is offered the role of team leader but declines it. Afterward, First Sergeant Torres delivers a speech outlining what lies ahead. The training will span 8 grueling weeks designed to push their emotional, physical, and mental limits to the extreme. Those who reach the final stage will face a 24-hour simulated mission called the Death March, which they must complete by crossing the finish line, the sole requirement to qualify as a ranger. The training kicks off with standard fitness and speed drills, though many instructors douse the recruits with water to mimic harsh, rainy conditions. These are fundamental Army exercises, yet by the end, numerous soldiers are eliminated for failing to meet the standards. Second phase intensifies the physical demands, incorporating nighttime workouts in pouring rain and prolonged underwater endurance tests. As the days progress, an increasing number of recruits are dismissed. After 4 weeks, the program shifts to woodland environments. While the other soldiers socialize and bond with one another, 81 pushes ahead alone, outpacing everyone. By the time the group arrives at checkpoints, he is already returning from them. The recruits mock him for his solitary drive, but he pays them no attention. During mealtimes, 81 also chooses to sit apart from the others. Subsequent challenges involve rope climbs across rivers and hand-to-hand combat drills, during which 81 consistently demonstrates his superior skills. One afternoon, Torres inquires whether the recruits have any real combat experience, and only a handful confirm they do. When it is 81's turn to speak, an uncomfortable silence falls over the group because many already know the tragic details of his convoy incident. After a day spent on shooting drills, the team gathers for dinner, where those familiar with 81's story recount it to the others who are unaware. It emerges that 81 had carried his brother's body 10 miles back to base and earned a silver star for his actions. When the recruits attempt to question 81 about it directly, they are reprimanded for gossiping and assigned additional physical punishment. Meanwhile, news reports discuss how NASA has detected an asteroid that will soon pass close to Earth. As the days continue, the exercises grow even more demanding, resulting in further eliminations among the recruits. 81 always waits until the others are asleep before taking his medication, but one night, Recruit 7 notices him doing so. The following day during a break, 7 correctly interprets the meaning behind one of 81's tattoos without revealing how he knows, leaving 81 puzzled. The subsequent training phases feature simulated rescue operations and combat scenarios. Although the explosions are simulated, they trigger recurring nightmares for 81 about the original attack. During the next underwater drill, 81 motivates himself to persist by recalling his brother and his own past failure to save him, determined never to be too slow again. This resolve leads him to remain submerged far too long, nearly drowning, until the other soldiers pull him out and administer CPR. Later, while waiting outside a superior's office, 81 watches news coverage announcing that the asteroid is breaking apart. Experts now suspect it may actually be a cluster of smaller interstellar objects. Inside the office, Torres and Sheridan urge 81 to withdraw from the program, expressing concern over his mental state. He avoids socializing and never sought therapy after the tragedy. The sergeants view him as their strongest candidate and prefer he leave voluntarily rather than be removed. After an initial emotional reaction, 81 calmly refuses their advice and exits the office. When underperforming recruits are culled, 81 assumes he will be next, but he is among the small group that successfully completes the course. The remaining team now has 30 minutes to prepare for the final test. The others celebrate their achievement, but 81 remains composed and expressionless. The hangar, Torres briefs them using a terrain map and explains the details of the Death March. A classified aircraft has been down behind enemy lines, so their objective is to traverse hostile territory, destroy the aircraft to prevent it from being captured, and then locate a rebel village to rescue the pilot. To the group's astonishment, 81 is selected as the team leader. The recruits board the helicopters, which soon lift off. They recognize much of the landscape from their training, except for one unfamiliar zone. A ranger informs them it is a private quarry, and encountering it would mean they are badly off course. Eventually, the team is inserted and immediately conceals itself in the woods. 81 struggles with motivational speaking, so 7 steps in to deliver some encouraging words. The group advances throughout the entire day, pausing only at night to rest. While on watch duty, 7 attempts to share something personal, but 81 declines to engage. Moments later, a glowing object crashes nearby, shaking the entire area. After recovering from the surprise, the team speculates it was merely artillery fire as part of their punishment for resting. 81 decides it is time to press onward. The next morning, the team spots an unusual aircraft across a stream. It does not resemble standard models, leading them to believe the Rangers have invested heavily in elaborate special effects for the exercise. 81 begins formulating a strategy, but a soldier interrupts to note that the aircraft's position does not match the given coordinates. He also reports that his compass has stopped functioning properly. The others verify their own compasses and find they are malfunctioning as well. 111 adds that communications are down too, picking up only strange interference. Believing this is all part of the test, the team divides according to the plan. After a flock of birds suddenly flees in panic, 81 spots a glowing light in the distance and moves toward it, while 3 soldiers start placing explosives on the craft. Upon reaching the glow, 81 is stunned to discover it is the genuine target aircraft from the mission and races back to warn the others. Explosives detonate but inflict no damage on the bizarre vehicle. It then begins to glow and reconfigure itself into a standing robotic machine. The robot employs a blue laser to scan the surroundings and a red one to scan the soldiers. It subsequently deploys a weapon and opens fire, forcing the troops to scramble for cover. Sadly, several are hit and fall. The robot continues assaulting their hiding positions, claiming even more lives. When 44 is about to be shot, 81 tackles her to safety and orders the rest of the team to flee. As they sprint through the forest, the robot fires relentlessly from the stream, toppling trees and killing more soldiers. Eventually, the survivors find themselves trapped at the brink of a cliff, and the robot hurls a bomb that detonates in front of them, hurling the group over the edge. They suffer severe injuries while tumbling into trees and rocks below. One man impales himself on a branch that pierces his chest, while another shatters his spine against a rock. Upon landing, 81's mind flashes back to losing the entire convoy, with memories blending into the sight of his current wounded comrades. Regained focus, he seizes his broken fingers and resets them. He then silences the screaming 109 to avoid revealing their location. Working together, they free the impaled soldier from the branch, and 81 leaves 109 to tend the injury while he checks on 7, who has a wounded leg. The group is bewildered by the events and recognizes they need the radio carried by 111, who is missing. While the others assist with bandaging, 81 ventures out to search for 111. After passing several corpses, he locates 111, but he is deceased and the radio is destroyed. Nearby, another soldier crawls desperately as the robot pursues and eliminates him with its laser. 81 returns to his team, who tried but could not save the pierced soldier. The men request time to mourn, but 81 warns that the robot is approaching and compels them to move. They secure ropes over the next cliff's edge and descend rapidly. 81 waits at the bottom as 7 is carefully lowered by the final soldier. At that instant, his compass goes haywire, signaling the robot's proximity. The machine suddenly appears atop the cliff and fires, causing 7 to slam into the ground and killing the other soldier, whose mangled body falls nearby. The team presses against the wall for cover as the robot scans. Its laser strikes one of their legs, forcing the 6 remaining soldiers to run once more. 7 is being carried and cries out upon seeing an incoming explosive from the robot. The group sprints desperately as blasts detonate around them, repeatedly knocking them down. They persist without surrender until they escape the forest beyond the robot's immediate reach. In an open grassland, they finally halt to recover. Team debates possible explanations for the chaos, while 81 attempts to bandage 7's leg, but freezes upon seeing the blood. 7 offers calming words that help 81 regain composure. Sadly, their medical supplies were lost in the chaos, so 81 must reset the bone without pain relief, causing 7 to faint from the agony. Afterward, 81 informs the group that he located their true objective, which was not the robot, meaning they have stumbled into an uncontrollable situation. Their optimal path is to head for the village. 15 objects that crossing an open field would leave them exposed, but 81 counters that they have no alternative. After discarding unnecessary gear, they continue onward, transporting 7 on a makeshift stretcher. Eventually, they arrive at a river with powerful currents, and 81 declares they will set up a zip line. He secures a rope to himself and leaps into the icy water, only to be swept by the flow. 44 briefly loses sight of him, but 81 swims relentlessly and through great effort reaches the opposite bank. Once he fastens the line securely, 15 begins crossing while towing 7. the stretcher snags on a knot, requiring 15 to return and adjust it. During the effort, one side of the stretcher's knots loosens, leaving it dangling precariously. 81 and 44 climb from opposing sides to maintain balance and assist 15 in supporting the stretcher. Distracted by the task, they fail to notice the compass acting up again. The robot soon emerges, scans, and fires, sending the entire team plunging into the river. The currents carry everyone away except 81, whose leg is entangled in rope. Robot wades in and prepares to shoot 81, who slices the rope with his knife and escapes at the last second. Each time the robot fires, 81 submerges to evade the blasts. Nearby, 7 drifts away on the stretcher, so 81 swims to rescue him. The rapids prove too fierce, however, and sweep them all over a waterfall. 81 struggles to reach 7 again before losing consciousness. Some time later, the team washes up on the shore. They discover they were saved by 60, who recounts being hurled into the rapids during the initial robot assault. Believing the rest were dead, he journeyed onward until spotting the survivors tumbling down the falls. Upon noticing another body in the water, 81 signals that it is time to move. After hours trekking through hills and forest, 81 halts the group upon detecting a trap, a rope linked to trees, and a flare clearly placed by their sergeants for the original mission. They avoid it and proceed until reaching the village, only to find it ravaged by the robot. The broken antenna explains the communication failure. 81 follows the path of destruction and spots dark smoke rising from the mountain. The team deduces that the robot arrived with a fragment of the asteroid and represents alien technology. At that moment, they hear a voice and uncover a severely burned sergeant beneath debris. He gives them one final glance before succumbing to his injuries. A nearby tank catches 81's attention, and he proposes repairing it to depart swiftly. 15 requests a brief pause and criticizes 81's apparent emotional detachment, prompting 81 to react intensely. He grabs 15 and explains that after the convoy attack, he never reached the base in time. He awoke in a hospital while his brother was already en route in a casket. Doctors said he had passed out just 100 yards from safety, so his brother died because he could not endure a little longer. He views the metal in his leg as a reminder of the worst day of his life. 81 acknowledges their emotions, but stresses this is no longer about them. They must reach base to alert the world to the alien danger. Initially stunned, 15 watches as 81's words inspire the group to spring into action. The tank refuses to start until 15 applies his mechanical expertise to revive it. The soldiers use a rope to extract the tank from rubble, and the motion reveals a compartment of food that 44 quickly distributes. A flare then lights up the sky, indicating the robot triggered the earlier trap. Everyone hurries into the tank except 15, who returns for ammunition. Robot appears and shoots him dead just after he tosses the ammo inside. 44 drives the tank through the woods as the team returns fire, but human weapons prove ineffective against it. The robot's assaults batter the tank, forcing 44 to accelerate to maximum speed. When fire breaks out inside, the team extinguishes it promptly, though the armor is clearly failing. Surprisingly, the robot halts its pursuit momentarily to launch more explosives. Blasts erupt around the tank, tossing the occupants and causing head injuries against the interior, yet 44 keeps driving. When the robot fires multiple grenades, the massive explosion finally propels the tank down a hill. It smashes through trees until clearing the forest, and the robot is no longer visible behind them. This is because the machine has now positioned itself above, leaping from the cliff to land ahead and fire a devastating laser beam. 44 swerves to avoid it. Robot resumes the chase. The soldiers fire back with whatever they have, but it remains futile, and 109 loses an arm in the fighting. The robot fires its laser once more. 44 dodges skillfully, but the tank loses half its armor. 7 slips out suddenly, and 81 clutches the stretcher rope to secure it. Another blast causes him to lose his grip, and 7 falls onto the road. 81 then shoots at the mountain to trigger a landslide that buries the robot. At that point, the tank explodes. In another nightmare, 81 sees his brother on the ground, urging him not to give up. He awakens and searches the wreckage. Tragically, everyone else has been burned alive, leaving him as the lone survivor once more. Spotting sparks among the rocks, he rushes to investigate for the robot but finds only one of its arms. Turning around, he sees the rest of the machine transmitting a signal into space. 81 then runs to the road and locates 7 still on the stretcher. The robot fires at the tank before advancing, so 81 flees while pulling 7 along. For the following hours, 81 persists in dragging the stretcher, refusing to abandon his comrade. He struggles through heavy rain and mud, where the rope snaps. He slips multiple times until his watch beeps, marking the end of the 24-hour mission window. 7 then awakens and discloses that he once served in the same unit as 81's brother, who constantly praised the Rangers. 7 assures 81 that he has not failed because he never quit. Their conversation is cut short by the robot's scan. 81 observes smoke emanating from the machine, indicating it is venting heat, and notices the nearby quarry, inspiring a plan. He hides 7 and hurries to the private quarry, where he gathers dynamite, a flare gun, and a remote for the rock carrier. The robot enters the forest and nearly discovers 7, but 81 fires the flare, drawing it to the quarry instead. Upon arrival, the dynamite detonates and topples the robot. 81 then emerges in a bulldozer and shoves the robot against a wall to pin it. As the robot resists, 81 activates the carrier, causing rocks to cascade onto it. The robot fires up its thrusters and forces the bulldozer back from the wall while preparing its laser. 81 accelerates and rams it into the wall again. Though the bulldozer is deteriorating, it holds the robot in place long enough for rocks to seal its vents, leading to internal overheating. A final effort, the robot brings down a tower that crashes onto the bulldozer, but 81 leaps clear just in time. The overheating triggers the robot's explosion, which sets off hidden dynamite in a chain reaction. The robot collapses and powers down, but its compartment opens accidentally, spilling more explosives. 81 sprints away and escapes the quarry seconds before the flames ignite the bombs in a colossal blast. Following morning, 81 carries 7 on his shoulders back to base, arriving to scenes of total chaos and bodies strewn everywhere. Helicopters are dropping pieces of alien machines. After medics take 7, Sheridan informs 81 that they have secured the base but lost half the battalion. The alien robots had struck everywhere. Humanity repelled the first wave but now faces preparation for a full global invasion. News footage worldwide shows asteroid fragments landing in various nations and deploying the robots. World leaders are convening to coordinate, and allied forces of all types are uniting. 81 shares details about the robot's ventilation system as a critical vulnerability, and the information is rapidly disseminated to every country. Sheridan notes that this intelligence will save many lives and formally inducts 81 as a ranger. Afterward, 81 delivers a speech to the ranger team before they depart together in helicopters prepared for battle. When he drifts off to sleep, he dreams of a positive bonding moment with his brother rather than his usual nightmares. And with this, our movie comes to an end. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, leave a comment, share it, and subscribe to Anik Alvin Recaps. Stay with us. I invite you to watch the next video. I'm signing off now.